we lost monetarily 真的是 costing 啦。Even 你算掉 like the initial contract supposedly profit, right? We actually lost we make a lot of 30,000.
30,000.
30,000 because we had to pay for the labor, materials, everything.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 1 of our podcast. I'm Sean Tan, an interior designer, and today we are at BallsDeep. It's a channel whereby we actually introduce interior designers, suppliers, contractors, property agents, as well as homeowners to let you guys learn about everything you need to know about your house renovation and whether you are making the right decision when it comes to buying the first property or actually renovating your first house.
Yeah, and I'm Franco, professional audience asking questions you have but can't ask. So today we have a very special guest with us, Melvin.
Hi, I'm Melvin from Mac Interior. I've been in this trade for around 18 years. Yeah.
18 years. So how do you get into ID?
A long story, but after I finished NS, I actually went to a company to sort of intern or apprentice lah, in a way. So then I worked from there, then slowly progressed to become a designer. Then after which I set up my own firm.
So you purposely look to be an ID or somebody recommend you say, hey, ID 很好赚的嘞, just try lah.
Actually, never, because back then when I was in my teens, right, I didn't really have a home per se lah. Like I was actually staying in relatives' house here and there. Like maybe 三姨家 stay for 1-2 years. Then I went to 舅舅家 stay for 1-2 years. Then yeah, so 很想有自己的家 and also wanted to like make my home very nice when I have one. So gradually when I had the chance to actually go into this trade, then I just went in.
Because 你一直 move around, then 你觉得他们的家没有 design 不好看，所以你讲不可以，我要做一个比较好看的家。不是这样。
But actually, honestly, I mean back then, right, you can't really see there's like 有设计感的 HDB, right? You get what I mean?
True.
Like it's actually all like tiles, a bit of cornices at the corners.
Okay.
Then the kitchen cabinet 也是有 pattern, 要有那个 like twist and turn 的 cornice, right? So it's more to, I think 你去到每个家都有点这样 cut and paste 啊。So yeah.
Because 以前跟现在很不一样 right? 以前 like people don't really see ID 的 ID 是 additional cost, 他们没有什么 design in mind. 现在 is a lot more people thinking more about ID.
I think it's also a change in lifestyle. Like 以前 you don't really see like 有 design 有 team 的家，你去每个家都 looks probably like the same. And even when I mean back then when my parents they bought like houses before I went sort of like homeless So back then when they bought houses, right, 都是没有 renovate 的. It's like they just move in and use it. And then for new houses, right, they probably just install cornices and kitchen cabinet. Then lucky ones will have aircon. So I only got to 体验 aircon when I was I think 18 years old.
So you turn lucky when you're 18
I mean sort of. But I think yeah, so that back then it sparked something with me. Like I think like actually when you watch TV, 你看那些 Angmo 的 movie, right, their houses all like quite nice.
很 chill 的。
Yeah. So it's like 为什么新加坡的家 like different one? Like 每间家一样。So yeah, very very different. So yeah, after which when I got a chance, then I straight away went into the trade to try it out.
Then starting 不是很难 You must convince people why you need an ID. 因为以前的人没有 Pinterest 嘛，他们看不到什么家路来外。你要看那个
But I think luckily when I was in the trade when I was 22 years old, I think things started changing in Singapore. So yeah, you get to see more houses with nicer design. Even I think HDB back then was starting to like 开始会找 ID to 去 design. Yeah, correct. So yeah, so luckily 可能那个 trend shift. So I was just nice in that era also.
So the aircon was the turning point for you. you cannot every job must have an aircon.
You cannot imagine like sleeping really without aircon until I was like 18. I mean, of course, I've seen my relative houses having aircon but 自己 overnight 睡在 aircon 18 years old. Yeah.
So that's how you got started lah. But 你留这么久是因为很好赚啦，他们讲 ID 很好赚的嘞。
Actually, 你说好有好也有不好啦。I mean, it's after all, I really think 这行如果 you don't really have actual passion in it, right? 你很难做很久的 because it's quite honestly I think a few factors it's quite stressful and then the timing is also very different from 9 to 5 jobs.
除了很多东西 to manage 的是
Thank you for voicing that out. I can relate.
不要加了你
Because it's got
It's not
random
easy.
time like usually public holidays usually people rest but that's actually the time where we meet our clients.
True.
Yeah, because 他们有 off day 嘛 then we can meet them on their off days.
Yeah, and people move in the timing 也是很带的。可是usually 他们买那个家 they got like 3 months to move in， 他们会跟你讲 I need to move in 3 months， then 你要 handle everything 随意随。
那你 move in 了没有？他们 promise 多久？
他们 promise for 2 months， 现在我有点怕了，收多了。Next week is I supposed to move in one.
So actually really next week.
Yeah, actually 是 next week.
Okay.
Good luck.
Actually 是
I
this
see
week.
your house photo. I only can tell you. Good luck.
Yeah, I
you
pray.
want to voice out the name.
不要media 考来。That's why 等下 ID 全部 a lot of people experience ID 就是这样。
Yeah.
他们每次会给一些 holding response， then after that every time when it's closer to moving date 那他们就会讲ready or not ready or not， 好像 you go go to the side or not， like a lot of things not done， 为什么这个不可以那个不可以
I think based on what you say, right? 我就觉得 like there's a stigma in this industry. It's a bit like some industry like example we talk about like financial advisor. There's a stigma in it like people who do sales are generally like out there to scam you. Like people have this kind of like you try to sell me something you're trying to scam my money. I think that is the stigma lah. So how does your company like do something that is like different? Like what do you all do to sort of like shift away from this kind of like what do you call it, stereotypes?
Not so hard sell
Actually, the main thing is we don't hard sell. I mean, we don't have any of our designers going for sales courses.
Yeah,
per se.
like, 老板，要做裤子吗？老板。
No, I mean, really back then when I first joined the trade, right? Back then, Expo was the trend. So homeowners always go to Expo. So you will actually really see designers 很 hardcore. They will really like, 进来看一下啦，看而已嘛。Like that's sort of like the salesy approach lah. But I mean, gradually after so many years, trend 也是有点变。Now we try to attract clients instead of like 真的 hard sell. Like 今天我给你 promo 啦，你签啦，我 wave 你这个 wave 你那个 But I don't think it really works that way 啦。It should be a two-way thing. Means 我吸引你的，可能你喜欢我的like design or projects, past projects, and then you are actually you also trust that I will actually handle your home properly, something like that. So this is what we pass down to every designer instead of like 你一定要签这个 customer 哦，你没有签哇，我等下扣你说。I think don't really work that way 啦。
你有没有去过 Expo？ 你真的好像你
I did. 我刚刚 join 的时候，我是08、09年的时候 I went to Expo.
OK，
08、09年。
08、09年，哇，17 years.
But of course, sadly, I think maybe I was young or maybe character I wasn't so open yet. Right? I will have seniors say, 我签了你没有签啊 customer 讲哈可以马上当天签的啊，可以啦，怎么不可以？你不会？Then I was like, oh okay, I didn't know that. I mean until today I still can't convince myself to like forcefully ask people to put the deposit down. I don't think it's actually sort of right lah.
呀咯，很大笔钱不用想的咩？
actually 真的有嘞。
真的咩？
真的有 like back then I had a lot of seniors but 他们大我很多岁啦。Back then I was only 22 they were like 30, mid 30s
Okay.
They can really get the customers to put down the deposit. Then they gradually like entice them with discounts, free gifts and stuff.
Actually, we look so shocked Your wedding photo shoot, you also pay deposit the moment you meet the guy, what?
Different. That one quote me like 4 digit only. This one like 5 digit, no, very different.
Also, it's a value lah.
It's a value.
Then you never think like next time you want to change wife all this
That one can happen later. No? Yeah. Ask her reimburse me.
Must put the zzz, then we go back.
After this single. Okay, so for IDs, right? 他们通常每次讲 ID 的 markup 很多。That's why people tend to sell ID because they always think like, wow, maybe 我 direct contractor 比较便宜 go for ID 不懂他们做什么，每次没有去 site. After that nearing closer to 那个 moving day everything not done, then 还要在那边一直靠不那个 ID.
You sound like from inside one
Yeah, that's why
Is it from the inside
Yeah, I don't know whether I can move in next week. I'm very scared. Yeah, that's why. 所以你觉得ID 的 markup 多吗？
I think 我们自己 based on 我自己的经验 my own experience usually is around 15 to 30%.
Okay.
There's a big range.
But there's actually a lot of ways to do a house. Like basically, if let's say if you were to compare, you need a few IDs, right? So maybe let's say if the highest you receive is maybe 100, the cheapest you receive is 50. But I mean, we have to compare apple to apple. There has to be something missing because 没有可能他卖你100，别人可以卖你50的。Because 这个卖你100的人，他不会赚7-8千的。It doesn't really work that way. There's always costing involved. So like usually what we advise is read between the lines for the contract, and then of course vet closely like 这个公司的 location and the credibility of the company also.
Yeah, but 通常 layman 的 Singaporean 他们不懂 what's the difference， 他们只听到那个价钱。
Yeah.
50K, the person charge me 50% cheaper, no.
How to justify? I think that's a question. Like, how do, from a customer POV, right? How do they justify like?
Yeah, because not a lot of people close to ID. They don't know that there's a lot of hidden cost. After that, you sign already, put your deposit already, suddenly after that say, 有这个 cost 忘记加进去啊，then 加到 become more expensive than 100K after that.
你是经验
这是垃圾
我跟你讲
A lot of things coming from your heart, bro. Bro, a lot of things coming from your
I cannot
heart.
hold back.
A lot of things coming from inside. I can feel it.
How do I protect myself? Please
I
tell
protect
me.
you. Lucky you got ID friend.
Yeah, that's why.
But that's usually the case. Like that's why I say 没有可能 they can charge you and such a low price. Like maybe for example, they will say, 哎呀，是比它便宜很多 but 我有少算一点东西，我们签了之后，我之后再算给你。But the 之后再算 is quite disastrous if you never really follow through. So yeah, I think the first thing is to actually really read between the lines on the contract lah.
Oh.
It's like they give you a chicken wing, but they take back a whole chicken.
We may be taking a chicken wing from you, but we are giving you a whole chicken.
Wow,
So long.
加辣欸。So,
You get the reference? Yeah.
reference.
The belly one.
You know, I say no. Really over already. Yeah, so for our audience 这样讲是 ultimately they must read between the lines. That's the only way they can protect themselves Ultimately, 因为他们不懂什么 line item needs to be inside. There's no other way to protect themselves other than reading the contract clearly, hoping that 没有 extra hidden costs.
I think for example, like say if 他少 quote maybe 3 or 4 wardrobes, then they tell you that they how to include it after that. But wardrobe 这种东西是 you can ask them to calculate also. So similarly like 我 tabletop 我还没有算你那个 tabletop. But actually tabletop they can actually calculate immediately. So ask them to calculate the missing amount and put it onto black and white. I think it's safer.
I think generally the price is quite fixed in terms of like, you compare carpentry to carpentry. It is roughly in the range one. I think that's what you mean lah.
Yep.
But I think what we maybe the viewers maybe want to find out is more of like, as someone who don't know anything, right? How can we better protect ourselves from like unethical practice in the industry? Like, how do I know whether someone is charging me 100K for something that is only worth 30? But you know, I could have got it at 60. But maybe someone charging me at 100K. Maybe the thing is really worth like 80, 90. Like they are using like better products, better workmanship, better warranty coverage, insurance package, that kind of thing. So how do they filter out the bad people from the start? Like, is there any telltale signs like, 因为他这样 then no, this is not someone I should go for?
Okay, I think the first point to filter off those hit and run people in a way. Basically, the first red flag is a very high amount of deposit. Actually, deposit shouldn't be more than 20%. Even us, we actually collect less than that. You also know. Then the second
10%, I tell you, 10%.
10%, yes, correct. And then the payment terms, look at the payment terms. Like maybe, for example, can also 50 upon confirmation. Then this is a big red flag already.
Okay.
Actually, there's someone fall for this. You know, the other day my wife was telling me, right? She knows someone that actually paid 60% upfront deposit because they say like they have a certain package like X amount of price. It's very cheap. But to do that, they have to pay upfront to secure it. Then afterwards, I think the design come out is not what they want. So this, I would say it's a scam, but I think they trusted the wrong person to take on the project.
Sounds like a scam.
Because I think this links to the, I think second thing that we can look at is there's no such thing as you pay more to secure a deal per se. Because firstly, if the company has been in the trade for long enough, is credible enough, got all the credentials and stuff like that. 他也不会跟你收 60% 嘛，因为 they have been in this trade for so long, they should have stable suppliers to work with them. So 这些 supplier 不会讲说，你要给我2万件哦，不然我不要做你工。Then actually this is a very big red flag already lah. So I think huge deposit upfront. Then constantly asking you to pay money when you haven't even commented anything. This is the second thing.
So based on your expo experience, asking people to sign on the spot, do you think 是 red flag?
But
you got sign lah, you got sign lah.
I sign, that's why I'm asking lah.
but this links to the how to say this is a bit 人性lah. Like for example, if today you go to expo, this company actually there are like big companies per se lah, being in the trade for like maybe 20-30年，他们真的有收 deposit, maybe small amount 的。And they really can give a good discount one. But of course 有些东西是可能后面会加回来啦。But can you say they are red flag? No, I think 可能 promotional. That's why I say you can actually go back to the thing of like checking the company lah. Checking
okay
company.
But how do they check? Like ACRA or like they just Google the UEA and then we'll have all
I think the
healthier
first thing
choice.
is they have to have a
nutritional value.
proper working like office or location, and also portfolio that prove that they have done projects across the years. And then also I mean if you want to dig deeper lah, 你去买它的 ACRA, 你去它的 PR Capital 咯。
如果没有 website should trust?
That's
why 有点烧啦，现在每个人要看 website 有没有
at least you Instagram.
对咯。
Actually this one 这个就更难学了。Because honestly when I gradually started my own company, right, 我以前 initially 我也是 sort of freelancer, means I didn't even have my office one.
没有 office 的，
没有，以前我刚start是没有 office
在哪里谈？在家里谈？
在外面谈哦。Like correct,
真的
like but 都是 referral 啦，就是 like 他们的 maybe friends or relative 的家是 like I did for them 嘛。So 这个就是 like I think part of being credible. I don't know. Like
so that's how you start Mac Interior 从 Starbucks to Starbucks and eventually to office.
Actually, honestly, yes.
真的啊
Yeah.
Rough start.
rough
Now
start
is smooth sailing.
I see. 哇，那你几岁 start your own office?
29 or 30, I think.
What are you doing at 29? Next year.
Still at Starbucks.
Do you think you currently like bring your values into your current company, like Mac Interior? Do you inject some of your like personal values?
I feel I do lah. I feel that the designers, our designers, don't hard sell. They up, or maybe you can say they don't know how to hard sell because the culture is not there. You get what I mean? Like if I'm a hard sell boss per se, 我请的人说，买嘞，做你不要 discount 一下。But I don't preach that. I don't preach that.
What do you preach?
你要帮这个 customer 抓准他要的东西做给他咯。Like if 他 don't trust you, you work harder on the next client. I mean,
so deliver quality instead of quantity lah.
Yeah,
but I think that's true though, because imagine as an ID, how many clients you have to manage in a year, right? Like you say maybe 1 month lah, or say one quarter lah, but you manage like 4 or 5 clients. Imagine you hard sell 4 or 5, then all give you problems lah. You will be spending the whole quarter solving like problematic clients. Yeah.
True.
Speaking about this, I have my own fair share of problematic clients. But I'm very interested to know, right? Do you have any clients that until now you do have very like deep impression of because of the projects? Yeah.
好的还是坏的？
坏的吧，我们一定是讲坏的先。People want to hear the 坏 one first, right?
I wouldn't say clients 坏啦。I mean 不是说 I'm trying to like sugarcoat things but sometimes really is 可能你真的不到那个 as designers 可能你不到那个 standard to understand what they are thinking or what they want. Then if you just do what you know, right, 你的 knowledge 比不到他要的东西 right, this is where this disagreement comes from. That's why I think communication very important. Like that's why I always say like we cannot like avoid communications with our clients. So the very 印象很深刻的 one was we basically after even she moved in,
Mm-hmm.
你讲到虚了。
It's okay. At least
After
day
my-
and age, we don't assume the gender one.
Yeah,
She
对
can
哦
be they them.
他还是可以做虚的。
Okay, then after the client moved in, we went in and hacked off all the bathrooms and the kitchen cabinets and redo everything.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like,
Finishes issues, misalignments, maybe a bit, not say maybe lah. Drawing 跟 cabinet 的那个门有点跑。By 跑 I don't mean like a very huge difference.
Okay.
Maybe somewhere below 10 cm.
Okay lah.
But because that was, it was fabricated wrongly lah. Then, we redo the whole thing lah.
So she cannot accept. She come down. She say 我不要，
Yeah.
重做到完。
Yeah, correct. But not just that lah. I won't really go very deep into it. But basically, we hack off everything and then we redo everything for the client.
then
Samulan.
did you all like sort of like lose money to make things good for the client, right? For the kind of customer service. Did you all end up losing money? Like, was it worth it, you feel? Like,
We lost monetarily, 真的是 costing 啦。Even 你算掉 like the initial contract, supposedly profit, right? We actually lost, we make a lot of 30,000. 30,000. Because we had to pay for the labor, materials, everything. Yeah.
To fix all the issues.
We had to rehack everything, redo 嘛。
很错嘞。
Yeah. 错啦 of course 错。但是我会记到现在。
我放不下。
Oh my god. But was it worth it? Like, to you lah, to you.
我觉得 honestly speaking 啦，对得起自己的良心。Because I actually asked my friends around like, other IDs or other so-called other ID bosses. They also told me like, hey, actually some things you don't need to go so like about to like redo everything. But I was feeling like, yeah, probably need to. Lor. It's not that it was very 假啦，就是可能赚的线 is wide. Then you could have just, maybe some people will just cut, then tell the client that you can have capping here, grouting thicker, then the door maybe I just change for you, you know. But back then, yeah, I think we should have, I didn't regret the decision, although we make a big loss. Yeah.
Because have you built your credibility and base until now lah?
I think it's like,
I think it resonates with your own values.
Like what I say, when 我上去看 it's actually not my project lah, but when I went up, I feel that actually 是我们的人的那个 how to say knowledge not enough that resulted in this. That's why I made the decision to redo lah.
Are you still using the same towel now?
No.
Oh, good to know. Yeah, that one most important lah.
That's why 你没有 take the loss
嘛。我每次要一直敲做。Yeah, 让我去拿 ruler 自己量。
哇
And that was a big blow because that was when we first started. So 你 imagine like 你 supposedly 可能 just started, you need funds to come in. 你又做那个家，你又要输钱去重做。So that's why 我的 impression 印象很深刻。
哇，他就剁你30千了。
You still having nightmare 对不对？
Oh yes, yeah. 放不下啊。But if that's your lowest, right? Then what's your highest? Then maybe 可能你一直想那个你就可以放得下那个 30K 哦。
Highest profit margin was 80K.
80K 啊，放得下了。
Margin like
你买得下那个
inside the pocket.
No lah, total. Yeah.
Total client about one house 啊。
One house because that was an inter terrace, so the contract sum was bigger 嘛。
你跟我讲 HDB 我会怕。
没有啦。
HDB profit 80K.
But I think nowadays quite common. I every time see like 哇，人家 upload 那个 video 做300千 HDB 200千。I mean like nowadays I see quite a lot.
做 HDB 200千？
做呀。
你回家交快点。
Hey, don't every time say expensive not expensive Got people spend 200K on the house not expensive
300.
300K. Oh HDB.
他不会买上去买新的 HDB.
Mention that I remember. If I never remember wrongly, you can actually go and search on YouTube or something like that.
If anyone is looking to spend 300K on your project, right, please look for me. Thank you. Whole year I just focus on your house.
Yeah, the 300K is you make a loss 30K. A loss already.
I build a new house for you.
所以我记得你有一个好像西北夹辣的 maybe 你 share 一下还是啦。
哇 Vietnam War flashback. Yeah, so for mine was because just now we were talking about bad experience So I did have a bad experience. I think it was a couple of years ago. I was doing a particular unit lah. Then the owner was probably he's going through a very stressful time. I don't know, but it was a very big hoo-ha in the company. I feel because he actually threatened to suicide if the project cannot be completed on time. And not just him, he threatened to bring me along, which I was quite traumatized lah. Like imagine today you try to serve a client, then they actually treat you with this kind of thing.
你讲华语比较 traumatizing.
Yeah.
Bring it across.
Okay. So yeah, 他就讲如果我跳，我一定做你一起跳。Then it was a very big thing. We had to get lawyers in to come in between. Bro, imagine 今天是你在那个家12楼 bro.
12楼啊
，12楼 bro， 我抓你去跳，你是 ice cream。
如果他3楼，你就会回啊。
Yeah, but eventually everything did end on a very good note lah. Like everything worked out properly. The project was handed over on time. Then we did have proper communication throughout. After this incident, we did have a proper communication. Then everything was smooth. We hand over, and then he did thank me on WhatsApp after that. Like I was quite shocked also lah, but it was a very. I mean, I learned a lot also lah from this experience. Like
okay,
yeah.
But 为什么他觉得你不会睡啊？
I haven't even started the project, bro.
You haven't started the project?
Haven't started.
Yeah. 他直接说他讲，我觉得
Yeah.
Actually, renovation is very stressful one for the
Clients,
homeowners
yeah.
and the designers also.
Yeah.
No, but actually 真的是很 stressful 的 like 他们会有 emotional turmoil while we are coordinating we also feel very stressful so I think 有时候是 like 尽量 communicate 咯 yeah 尽量 communicate 啦
cause 你们放在那个
你有这样跟你的 ID 讲吗？可能你明天下个礼拜就好了欸。
对 ，OK， 没有我在想啊，如果你跟我讲这个 story 哦，那我 next week 如果不可以 move in， 那我这样讲。Okay, so Melvin, a lot of people don't really know what goes on behind the ID scene. So they always think that IDs are very unethical. So from your standpoint of what are some of the unethical practice that you think IDs company typically like follow?
Or they still practice.
Yeah, still practice.
I think 撇掉 scammer we don't talk about scammers
okay, fair.
I think unethical I would say variation like extremely heavy variation orders like for example maybe after you sign like I mean we cite for the 刚才的那个 example like 他先叫你签后面加你like 他可能是 by right maybe let's say for example other people are charging for example $300 per foot run 你签了之后 because you got no choice he's handling your house right after you sign he charge you 500 no choice we are doing this then you got no choice but to pay because you already signed a contract with them so I think this is 比较 unethical 的啦
Yeah lor, a lot of
This
people
sounds like a scam, but they don't scam you upfront. They plan their scam.
Yeah, it's a long-term scam.
Yeah.
But sounds like a lot of people doing it. That's why a lot of people always say they got the same experience idea. 每次讲哇，他quote我很便宜下。Then afterwards also, 哇，加这个 hidden cost more and more
But I think this is a human nature like for example 他真的是 first contract the sum is actually much lower maybe 1-2万比人家便宜1-2万so you think that 他真的没有要赚我这么多gradually when you add things or you want to have things that the other ID actually wanted to give you you ask this person who you sign a contract with to quote 你发现更高I think this is quite unethical 啦他会知道 like you already signed with me you got no choice
对咯
Yeah, because 羊毛出在羊身上嘛 like if he can lower his cost he probably will cover back from I think this is something I share with all my clients like if someone can give you cheap they will definitely make back from somewhere one you will never get cheap forever one because unless cheap fast and good you only can get
2 out of 3
yeah and if someone is dirt cheap it will definitely not be fast they will definitely not be good and eventually they will either have to do more clients to cover back go by volume
okay
and then by doing more you will split out your attention and then you're more likely to cock out your project or they will actually DO you very hard at the back like
okay
it's like today you go to the fish tank the boss show you this girl fish
pause
Okay, then 这样then 不是很多 ID 分买就 just quote 到最便宜 then after that 加 all the way to the end then isn't it to the benefit of your company 如果你 just give them the lowest quote possible then 你 after that 一直加在后面
Actually it's a human nature like 你真的会觉得他不要赚你这样多 but then 你后面会损失更多 so This ID probably is doing a one-off business.
Yeah.
He just want
Not
to get your
long-term.
contract.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you'll still mark up at the end here and there, like it's just how much you mark up in the end to get.
I think it's better to be upfront. Like, I mean, we code everything in.
Yeah.
And then you see if it's
Yeah.
justifiable do you need this thing? Yeah. Then if you don't need this, we can remove this. Rather than I don't show you this. At the end of the day, when you sign it, I tell you like, hey, actually you want this, I add this for you, is this amount.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, the number one comment I get the most in my 5 years in this industry right, is everyone tell me you're very expensive. But I know, I always reply them the same thing. I know I'm expensive, but it's because I try to include everything for you. That's why the contract looks expensive. But I plan for a lot of things that eventually will come back as cost one. Or I pre-plan the design in such a way that we do this, we get a certain result. Better than you do this and this, then suddenly you feel like, it's like you do A, B, C, then for you maybe you do A, B. Then you feel like, got C will be nicer. Then the C become a B, O. But might as well I plan A, B, C for you in the code at the start.
So you're telling them you know hidden cost?
Yeah, I know hidden cost.
I
expensive, but I honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. So the best way for customers to protect themselves 是看 average of the market 啦. So like 4-room the average 是多少，在那边 aggregation plus minus here and there. That is the best way for them to get the rough estimate of their cost overall.
I think 差不多啦, because nowadays information 很 open 嘛. So you can actually search online. Apart from searching on this company's reputation, credibility, 其实那个价钱也是 quite open 的.
等一下我看到 300K 的 renovation 呢，我讲这是我的 average 吗？我说
But for all you know, maybe 他们是 like marble all over the place, like I mean you can't really judge. Like the first thing is you see 哇很贵 but 如果哇 you got marble on your ceiling, then different case 啦.
Okay 啦 so best 是看别人的 portfolio， 看他们的价钱 I got from there 啦。
But I feel like especially in creative industry, like you cannot put a price point to creativity because every layout. I mean, unless you see 10 layout the same. But usually people see me the layout is different one.
You're just creative with your pricing.
I creative, but I want to be paid for my creativity.
Okay. 很好。
That's how I justify. I think when it comes to interior design, there's a lot of spectrum you can look at. Like whether you just want to get a house done, you want to get a house done nicely, you want to get a house done exclusively and have something very different, then you pay different price for each segments or
Okay. So there's like so many themes, right, that people can choose from, right? Which one do you think is like for IDs, right? What's the most annoying one to work with? Why you laugh?
might be a bit offensive to like potential homeowners now because it's in trend wabi sabi.
Wabi sabi.
Why you don't like about wabi sabi? I like wabi sabi.
Why?
I like the raw, unfinished, the imperfection. You know what's so good about it? Means I don't have to do my job perfectly.
They do halfway only.
I do halfway. Wabi sabi, imperfection.
I mean, I can elaborate a bit more.
Okay,
it's not really the theme that annoys, because wabi sabi is actually sort of like a lifestyle, like everything is clean, you don't have things like cluttered here and there, But if your lifestyle don't suit wabi sabi and then 你硬要做, right, you probably will feel happy when when we hand over the place to you. 你住了 maybe 半年之後 you say, wow, I don't have things, I don't have like areas to store my stuff, and this thing is like, wow, so like this lime wash, for example, wow, it's like powdery, annoying, everything, then probably don't suit you. But a lot of, clients will also have to know their lifestyle, 適不適合 this design in particular.
So if you're dirty and messy, don't pick wabi sabi. Pick industrial 是吗？
讲的像 construction site 一样乱
乱东西 fit the style.
Carton boxes.
So 不是因为难做 that's why annoying 啦，是 just that ultimately customer 会讲 it's not up to my expectation, not up to my lifestyle 这样。
难不难做 actually 是designer 的 experience and 功力啦，I would say 啦。Yeah, but you can't really 随便留几个 lime wash, like place a few wooden tables and cabinets, and then you call your place a wabi sabi theme, right? Yeah. So this is wabi sabi is a very misunderstood theme, I would feel. That's why, annoying per se, because everybody thinks 我要很好看 but do you like are you suitable for this is another thing.
What's the worst? What's the worst trend in Singapore? Wabi sabi. So after 18 years already, what's your vision for Mac Interior? Has it changed or has it always been the same?
It has actually always been the same.
Okay.
Mac Interior actually means you met the right designer.
Ooh.
So we are not really heavy on a particular theme. We are not like hey, you come and find us, we want you to follow our design team and stuff. So we are more to customizing homes for everybody. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that kind of links back to his story at the start.
Yeah. The aircon one.
Maybe
that is very personalized.
Every house should have an aircon.
Yes, very important.
And Mac Interior, we make sure every place got aircon.
Well, actually, about this, right, back then when I started my company, I felt, because when I started my company, I haven't got my own house yet. So back then I was
So experiment people house, then you...
I was actually thinking, like, 我连自己的家都没有，为什么我觉得我可以帮人家打造一个梦想之家
Okay.
something like that. But after when I gradually like sort of brave across the years, I feel that actually, as long as 我没有对不起自己的良心 and I uphold our designers with that kind of standard also, right? I think we are fine. So gradually move on quite well. Yeah.
So 你 name 你的 company Mac Interior 是因为你要 meet customer 的 expectation.
就是 at least our clients will feel that they might met the right designer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. That's why the matte, matte interior. Yeah.
没有 exceed 他们的 expectation.
I mean,
Eventually, after a few more years.
我希望我可以。
Your designer got exceed your expectation.
没有 that's why I haven't even meet.
He exceed your moving time. That's what he exceed.
Yeah, exceed. 可怜.
Yeah. So back to your vision.
Yes.
So what is the end goal? What do you hope Mac Interior can accomplish for the people you guys are serving?
I actually envision that sort of the same compared to when we started, like continue building dream homes for every client, and then probably we can do like even bigger houses because now we have our own builder's license. So like 从 maybe build 一个condo apartment or HDB to rebuilding landed to help people achieve their dream of what they envision for their homes to.
Do you have a dream home?
I have.
What's your dream home? What? You close your eyes, right? Then
有游泳池，有电梯。
女孩子，
I mean, I feel that's a Singaporean dream lah. Everybody would want to have like a landed, for their all their family members to stay together. Yeah.
True.
So do you sometimes when you design customer house, right? Do you treat their house as your own house and do?
Actually, I do. Actually, I do.
I also do lah.
Also, you feel like you're living with them.
No, I experiment in their house.
If I actually honestly if I didn't, right, 那个敲掉重做 like 30千的 I probably wouldn't do that. Not saying that it's like a big thing or something that I did right, but I think that's the right thing to do lah back then.
I think it's hard lah because not all designers see this way. Like some people are just in it for the money.
Yeah,
but some designers actually treat every house as like their own house and design everything. That they put more thoughts into it. So I think that is the main difference that makes a good ID and a normal ID, I would say. And I think you cannot blame someone for putting in extra effort. Like maybe they spend extra hours, extra days to put their thoughts into a floor plan, right? And then they charge a premium. And you cannot just brush it off by saying like you're too expensive, because when they present to you, you will actually feel it one. Like you will actually feel the thought process that goes through. Like they actually think of how you live in the house, and they put themselves in the perspective, right? Like every corner, every part of the house, how you interact with the space.
Yeah.
I think it's very if you meet this kind of ID, right, you all should cherish. Yeah, should cherish the ID that. Please guys, I every floor plan I do, right, it's not 1-2 day one. I usually spend like 3-4 days to do. Not because I'm watching YouTube or whatever, but I really put my heart. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's something that I feel like it's the same as what you are doing. Like the goals is the same. Like we do put ourselves in the customer's shoes, or like when we look at the floor plan, we will envision like how they actually interact, not like anyhow draw some rectangle Because some people feel like ID job very easy. You open AutoCAD, you draw some rectangle, some lines, then the house come out.
That looks about right.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, your ID got draw anything.
Never. I never see anything. You're wasted.
Yeah, but I think it's the thoughts and the creativity that goes into it's a heart lah, like what you mentioned.
Yes,
That
it is.
the job has no benchmark. You cannot say who is good, who's not good.
Mm.
Mm.
By the presentation or the proposal, you should be able to tell that how much effort they actually put in, like their styles, their values. I think these are very good. Like I think these are very good key takeaway to filter the IDs by law. Like how, whether are they just taking like repeated photos on Pinterest, or they actually like have or they actually source out of Pinterest to go into like
Tumblr.
other websites. Like go to other websites.
Oh, that's one of the red flags also.
There is Tumblr.
Yeah, like they don't just copy and paste project, or they don't use their past project photos, but they actually customize something that actually sort of like value adds and make it more customizable, more to how you actually interact with the space. I think those are like key values and key takeaway.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for 我们的 Mac Interior 的老板 for our viewers who are very touched and moved by your story and vision.
I am.
Yeah, that's like any unique selling point to tell our customers to seal the deal. What puts you above the rest of the ID firms out there?
Wow. I think come and see us. Come and experience like speaking to our designers. Yeah. I can't really like tell you like 你来我 3D 给你一个 video and everything. But I think it's more of like an interaction whereby we actually sit down and understand our lifestyle and try to customize something for you.
Oh, I can feel the sincerity. They really like living in your house one.
Sort of.
I make sure I stay in your house 1 week first before I design.
Okay.
Give me the key, I stay 1 week first. How you think?
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for joining us in the first episode of Balls Deep. Hope you enjoyed what you saw. So remember, click left to share, click right to subscribe, and if you're touched by Melvin's story, please click down below to find out more about Mac Interior. So that's all, and we hope to see you in the next episode where we get balls deep again. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Left and right are done.